It's great to meet you. Welcome to Business Way TV. So in front of me, I have Tom and Chi from Accept Integrated Sustainability, which is a sustainability company that is operating from the Netherlands and also has a headquarters in Vietnam. So welcome. Great to meet you. All right, fantastic. So I'm wondering, so if you think about Accept Ingrained Sustainability, you know, you're a company basically originating from the Netherlands. What is your main purpose? What is your main goal of operating? What are the things that you are trying to accomplish with the companies and organizations that you work with?
And so Accept is a sustainability consultancy, design and development organization. We started 23 years ago, and I think that we're probably one of the oldest and most experienced sustainability-oriented companies in the world. And our goal really is to lay down the foundations for a sustainable society. And we do that by partnering up with large organizations, with multinationals, with local governments, bring them together and really introduce innovations and projects that reach the next level of sustainability that benefits basically all of us.
Great stuff. So what type of projects should we think of, you know, when you talk about these sustainability projects?
The majority of our projects fall in two categories. One of them is strategy, where we help organizations to change from the inside. So for example, we work with IKEA and with Heineken to determine their sustainability strategy and build a roadmap. The other side of our projects are spatially oriented. So we work on city design and building designs. We work on sustainable skyscrapers, sustainable industrial parks. And for all of these projects, we try to reach the next level. So we are pushing pioneering solutions and really helping partners to understand what is possible and how to make the best benefit out of sustainable development, both financially as well as practically.
Yeah, that's great. It also sounds like very far encompassing, right? Because it sounds like that these sustainability projects can go like, you know, into like a lot of different directions. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's true. The sustainability is, I understand that this term, this definition of sustainability is still quite new to people and is usually mistaken or limited to renewable energy only or to growing trees, basically. But it is more than that, and it can be implemented in everything that we do, from the strategy of a company to the city that we're building or to a green building that we are implementing. And so the question is usually, how do we become more sustainable? And that's the most difficult thing to answer. And this is where we come in and we guide people on how to become more sustainable.
Fantastic. So when you think about that overall question, how do we become more sustainable? Can you maybe give an example of a project that you've done in Vietnam where you feel like, well, this is something where we really help that organization or that company, increase their sustainability performance?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the project is still ongoing, and the company, they try to, first of all, together with the 2050 commitment of Vietnam, to carbon neutrality. The company has, wants to contribute to that goal, as well as they also have the pressure from their suppliers and clients to become more sustainable and, less negative impact on the environment, on the society. With that demand and that need, we support them not only into improve their energy and material flows, because I cannot really disclose their name or industry yet because it's confidential. But we also help them in terms of the contribution to the biodiversity, to the ecosystem that their factory are part of in the area, as well as in their economic aspect, which is the profitable for their own manufacturing product, as well as the culture side, which is, I mean, it would sound a bit rare to you to talk about culture, but culture is very important, either in an organization or for a neighborhood. And the last is the health and happiness of their own employees, first of all, and then of their clients. And these are the aspects that we help them to make sure they tackle them and implement and take into consideration in their strategy for the next 10 to 20 years. Yeah.
Great examples.
So I think one of the projects that we're very interested in also is to help some developers to take the next step for industrial parks. So at the moment there's a lot of factories that are relocating to Vietnam, and there's a lot of international demand from big multinationals to increase the sustainability performance. So we help the developers to understand what that means from an international context, and then implement that with real on-the-ground innovations to improve the performance of the whole park, but also by integrating it with townships where people actually live. So we have water purification, we have electricity generation, we have wastewater management, we have circular flow of energy materials from the different companies inside of the industrial parks, creating a new international standard of how we can innovate for a more healthy Vietnam society, but also for where these products are eventually used in other countries and their supply chains. And those are really exciting projects to us. And I think one of the really important projects that we are initiating ourselves is called Orchid City. And that's a concept for a fully self-sustainable city where all the energy and the water and waste management, but also all food production and job creation happens inside the city. And we're currently talking to developers to find areas of land that are suitable for actually constructing this, bringing together all the investment that is necessary, with lining up all the international banks, and then hopefully build the first of these truly globally innovative projects in Vietnam.
Yeah, that sounds like a fantastic project. And also, as we are here now at GEFE 2022, right, there are a lot of companies and organizations, that can probably contribute to an Orchid City, as you're describing now, right? So when you look now at the GEFE 2022 and the types of organizations that are here now, what do you feel is like the main significance of GEFE 2022 for the sustainability field in general?
For me, personally, I'm a Vietnamese, and GEFE happening this year is such a big step ahead for sustainability in the country, and I'm very happy about it, because years, and I have witnessed in Vietnam that sustainability has been mistaken for CSR, something you do for charity, that something is going to cost you money and that brings you little benefit back. But in fact, sustainability is such a foundation that you need for your business and for your own city. And for me, it is a milestone in Vietnam to have a GEFE event to bring sustainability to a new level in the country. And this is really aligns with our mission in Vietnam with our sustainability center named VICO. We want to establish this very professional, world-class sustainability in Vietnam with the center.
Fantastic. So when you look at GEFE, and you also look at sustainability as a whole, right? What I'm curious about is what particular industries or what particular verticals of industry do you feel are in the best position to implement sustainability, in Vietnam specifically?
Yeah, go ahead.
As Tom shared before, right? We support organizations so that they emit less. Let's say in short words, we also support cities, government to build this, their neighborhood housing life, right? And the greatest impact actually comes from the bigger industrial players as well as the city planning. Because there's so much you can tackle together when you build a city right, from energy, water, waste, to people's job, their living, people's health, and the air. All of the aspects you can influence positively by the way you design a city correctly. And this is something that we're aiming for together with our initiative in Orchid City. But at the same time, we try to help also big industrial players in the market to set an example to other smaller companies and to be a pioneer in their industry and become a positive force in the country. So I think those two are the two directions that we're aiming here in Vietnam.
Yeah, exactly. So then I hear like, big industrial players, but also the city planners essentially, right? That are usually like, so to speak, low-hanging fruit for sustainability. One thing that pops into my head is traffic, for example. When I think about, the city and basically, as you mentioned, building cities in a way where people complement essentially the different services and products and essentially everything that makes a city thrive, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the areas where Vietnam can really make a significant change is actually a confluence of both the private and the public. So the real estate developers have a huge impact on the impact of sustainability in this country. But the real estate developers need to follow law and they need to follow the directives that the government sets out for them. And the government can improve on learning from other countries on how these sustainable practices can be implemented, and that will impact mobility and traffic. It will also help with water and energy generation, but also with the social aspects, affordable housing, making sure places are livable so we can walk to school and that we have enough jobs in our environment so we don't need to haul ourselves 2 hours in traffic every day to get to our jobs. And that means then that the real estate developers can use these to their advantage to get a marketing advantage and to get an advantage in terms of maintenance cost and total cost of ownership. And so these things really come together there in that built environment. And that built environment is also influenced by what industry demands. So the international regulations on supply chains, they will govern how industry is actually built. And that's then that component of the spatial organization puzzle.
Okay. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, and that also showcase, your expertise there, right? Because you actually bring together so many different elements that you are marrying in such a way that actually, an overall sustainability solution becomes possible, right? And that sounds like something that not many organizations are actually able to do. And I guess that also speaks towards the amount of experience that you guys have. Because what is it? What you said? 23 years, I think. Yeah.
1999, and it's really why we're called integrated sustainability. It's because sustainability has an effect on every part of our society, and if we really want to implement it well, we need to consider all of these parts before we implement it. The advantage is that if you really do that from that holistic perspective, then you find these innovations and advantages that can really propel you into the market. And that will really help you with a better bottom line, better profitability, a better market share, better resilience against market fluctuations, a lot of advantage that you get out of it as a company. So you basically have a triple bottom line extra by using a holistic approach.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, and I think it also requires, from that holistic approach, like a very, how do we say that? A very open approach, right? A very open approach towards, what the wishes are, but also what the possibilities are around, everything that you're trying to design for that particular project, right? Whether it be like a city planner, large industry, or any type of other, business or organizational vertical, so to speak, right? So type of business or type of organization that you are working with.
Yes, for sure. And that's also why Chi here, as the country manager of Vietnam, is creating all of these partnerships that really help that collaboration from both private and public, from big companies to small, from colleagues, other consultancies and experts in engineering and water management and so on, to create strong partnerships in order to leverage these kinds of innovations. And for that, we're also creating that center of expertise here in Ho Chi Minh City for about 600 different experts from around the world that will be working together with both the government as the companies here to implement these kinds of new insights and innovations.
Okay. So, and thank you for mentioning the partnerships there, Tom. So, Chi, when you think about the partnerships that you're setting up at the moment, what are the ones that you feel, mostly proud of? The partnerships that you set up so far?
Oh, that's a good question. We select partners carefully. We don't just shake hands and become partner on paper and only for marketing. We select them for a reason, and we make sure that they will contribute to the community, and their expertise is something to be shared and to be complementing the mission. Most proud partnership. I mean, I like all of them. I mean, that's why we select them, right? It's like picking your favorite child.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
hang on.
Sophie's choice.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe not one, but I'm proud that the diversity of our partnership, that we have NGOs, and we have from government, and we have from private sector, and especially the private sector, they have really wonderful like expertise in what they do, and what we really want. That we want to be like, how to say, the connector, the collector of all these talents and expertise, and we bring it into in one place. And for example, Ho Chi Minh City wants to have a master plan for the city, you know, it's for the next 30 years. They come to this community and they get all the talents and expertise needed to build this sustainable master plan. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're, of course, mentioning like a big partnership, right? If you're looking at a Ho Chi Minh City Council, you know, who are, potential partners to work with, that is fantastic. Yeah, and it sounds like the partnerships that you're building are a great combination of, the different parties that actually allow you to fairly easily build, a good sustainability solution for whatever party that you're working with, correct?
Indeed. And so, working with them, it allows us to have insight into their own operation or their need, or, with that understanding, we make sure that all the partners, they achieve their own target together with our mutual target. Yep.
There you go. So you basically are also a stakeholder, it sounds like. So for any of the partners that you work with, in addition to the partner that you're doing, or the client, so to speak, that you're doing a project for, that you still highlight, people's, like for the different stakeholders, that each of them will actually reach their goal and will be able to actually meet their own goals when it comes to this sustainability project that you are running, correct?
Holistic, all
Yeah.
stakeholders, they gain the benefit, and because they are contributing to this common goal, this sustainability of the society, and
Fantastic.
So I think one of the things that makes us truly unique is that we've been working in this way for over 20 years. And we've learned to adapt our own organization to the needs of sustainable development. And in that way, we also have seen, exactly as you just said, that we may have clients, but clients are also stakeholders. And usually in the project, when we do another project, we can actually return the favor to our clients by involving them in another project that then benefits them. So slowly, over 20 years, building that big international network of clients and partners, to be able to make consortia that really be able to move towards the next milestone and share the risk, share the benefits together. And that's a very powerful way of looking at systemic, holistic sustainability.
Fantastic. Thank you for those examples. So are there any topics or any things that you would like to share as well that we haven't talked about just yet at this moment?
I mean, like, I'm very passionate about education. And as I mentioned before, sustainability is mentioned widely in the country, but people don't really know what it means. Even my mom asked, like, about my job, she still doesn't understand what I do. And so any innovation or transition for whatever is an individual or an organization, I think it has to start from knowledge, from the stable understanding what it really means. And it's something we also do it, except that we train. For example, we start a project with a private sector client, and in order for them to develop strategy, action plan for the 10 years, who is going to be mostly the employees who are going to implement it. We're not going to be there. We're not going to be there to babysit, right? And so we find it very important that we train their own employees to embark on this sustainability journey, to understand it in the correct way, and so that they can be autonomous and proactive in carry on the action plan in the next years. And that's something that I want to to widespread in the country for the training of true sustainability.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, right? Because it's the education and training that allows people to understand it, but also implement it in their own behavior on a day-by-day basis, right? Exactly to your point, people need to know what they're doing and also know and understand why this is so important, so they can keep on executing this, right? On for the months and years to come. Correct?
Also giving them a right compass, because sustainability is indeed very broad, and what it means for their organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
I think something that I would like to kind of give as a message is that over the years we've seen that projects that become really successful have people behind them that really truly believe that we can make a difference. And that's really where it starts. So if you look, for example, at a project, Salesforce Park in San Francisco, which you've seen a couple of times here on the video, it's the world's largest ecosystem rooftop on the 8th floor of a transport terminal. People thought that would be completely impossible when we introduced that in 2005 in one of the most dense and most complex cities in the world. But once the whole team actually understood that this was possible, we put our energy behind it, and for more than 10 years this was developed, and now it's an absolutely shining example around the world of a highly innovative and profitable project. And I think that that can happen here as well in Vietnam. The expertise is here, the understanding is here, the finance is here, and the opportunity to make these kinds of innovations into a reality. What we need to understand is they are always a challenge and they're always something new to do. But looking at our challenge that we all have and why we're here at GEFE today is to actually make sure that we reach those sustainability goals within the next 20 or 30 years. And for that, we really need to go and implement those kinds of innovations in order for us to have that leading edge to actually make the difference to reach those goals.
Fantastic. And it's great that you're mentioning actually this, because this is one of the key things as well that showcases how well, to your point, sustainability can influence and impact, many different layers of an organization, but more importantly, of a whole society, at many, many different levels, correct? So, fantastic. T, Tom, it was fantastic, talking to you here. Yeah, absolutely sure. And well, I'm very much looking forward to see you guys later at the stand. Enjoy the rest of the conference, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.